So I listed Stranger Things as sort of like the secondary part of all this because I finished today. Um, the one thing I was shocked by was it's very rare these days that something is happening and it's trending for all the right reasons. So Stranger Things has been trending for a few days, and not because of somebody said this or somebody insulted so and so or this was to this or this was to that. No, this was like, this was fun, this was great. Did you see? There's oh man, I'm trying to figure out how to mention. There's cameos by a big name horror actor. There are scenes that are very dark and horror driven, yet are very well received by the Stranger Things fan. Like, it's very clear they don't want this to be for 9-year-olds anymore. I'll just say that. I thought the first couple episodes have you so immersed back into the Stranger Things lore of loving the characters and how well they were done. The show lingers a bit for me. I'm not going to go into spoilers. So I wanted things to move a little faster. Let's get the band back together and kind of get back on point. But they got more story to tell, right? This is only 7 episodes. They got a couple more that are going to be long. It's good to see something positive kind of happening out there. And let me go the reverse order here. Ironcaster, I don't know if you've seen it or not or whatever, but what are your thoughts on just the idea that we could see horror genre type stuff ignite even a younger fan base and in this way? I actually am kind of surprised it's lasted as long as it has and that people are this excited still.
So I feel like I should point out that I've not really watched much of Stranger Things at all, though I have noticed that there is kind of I think kids do want horror to an extent. Like I have a friend who's a daughter who's about 12, 13. And her cousin, who's a little younger than her, they go and they watch all these horror movies. They're way into it. I think there's definitely a desire for that, as well as at the same time the 80s nostalgia. So I think it's hitting on a lot of cylinders all at the same time.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, I can see that. So, Brandon, what are your thoughts? I don't know if you've been able to take in any of it or not, or been able to get much of a gauge the reaction on Twitter or other social media to see sort of what I think I'm seeing.
Well, I did see Stranger Things season 1 and season 2. I am not a big horror genre type person to start with, but I did watch it and I did thoroughly enjoy it. And I thought, for Netflix, it was probably the best work that they had done, or pretty close to it. But as I said, I didn't watch season 3. I haven't watched season 4, but here's what I have noticed about it. There's a lot more enthusiasm for Stranger Things 4 because they're not pandering. You don't have either the pre-stuff, either from the actors or from the studio, claiming if you don't like it, X, Y, and Z. They're letting their work speak for itself. And for Disney to put the numbers up that they said about Kenobi and basically a double episode to start with. Yeah, if you do 2 episodes at one time on your opening, you're going to have higher view number minutes or hours than what
you
it would
questioned
be
that too, did you?
Things.
I sure did. When I heard that, I was like, wait a minute, are you putting both episodes numbers together? Because I felt it was worded in a way that they were trying to hide the fact that they did, and I'm like,
exactly. Yeah. But in comparison, Stranger Things 4, as far as enthusiasm, as far as fan base being pretty well united,
and positive,
there's no question. It's completely wiping the floor with everybody else right now, with the exception of maybe Top Gun, but apples and oranges type thing.
Sure, Mags. I don't know. Have you seen this kind of reaction? Did you watch any of this? And do you have anybody who's kind of like really been into this kind of stuff? Because I've been shocked. I got a friend who's got like the teenagers too. He and I are both like, man, they're chomping at the bit to get back into this. It's like nothing ever changed for them. They're ready to hop back into this world. I'm like, wow, this is really interesting that's how they approach it.
Well, admittedly, I'm like Ironcaster, where I have not seen the actual show. So, but I am planning on watching it just so I can get myself familiarized with it. But I'm kind of like Brandon, where I'm not into that horror genre, but it doesn't seem to come across as 100%. Like, it's not just all in horror. It has elements of horror. Maybe I could be wrong. But it just seems like fantastical. And everybody, I've seen tons of opinions on it and positive opinions on this latest season where, people were like, yeah, season 2, season 3 kind of fell off a little bit. They just kind of had some, shakiness there. But then, it seemed like I've seen so much hype, each day so far, as far as people catching up with it on season 4. And that's another thing. So you have season 4 dropping over over the Memorial Day weekend. And then you have, Top Gun Maverick and all this great, good content as far as giving the fans what they want, what they need. They need the creators to see that passion back into their projects, and that reflects it. And a lot of times the audience also can reflect that back to the creators and how they like it. So that's what I've been seeing as far as the reactions are concerned. So it's all good. I'm happy for the people.
Well, Max, I'll be happy when you watch at least season 1, because you'll understand me so much more when you have all that 80 stuff spoon fed to you the way it is. So,
I love 80 stuff. My
wife and I watched it. My wife and I watched it twice, and we would pause it and irritate the kids because we were going around the room looking at the stuff in the set design, going, "We used to have that. We used to have this. We used to, this is the grandma's house." And our kids are like, "Please, just start it back, please." I'm like, "No, wait, hang on a minute." Yeah.
Wait a minute, I recognize that paneling on the living room.
Absolutely. I don't know who did the set designs on these shows. They've done a really great job. So
who knows? I might still recognize some of that stuff in my grandmother's house.
Yes, you might. Ryan, because you are so plugged into the content creators that are out there and that kind of thing, you've also been able, I think, give us a fair assessment that a lot of them appear to be, at least what little they're saying about Stranger Things, I don't think it's really cracking the bubble for a lot of content creators. But are you sort of getting a nice positive vibe on this as well?
I'm getting a vibration that's similar to that of Top Gun in regards to a television series. It's good by normal standards, but in the woke culture that we live in, people are celebrating it, and rightly so. We need more shows like Stranger Things and less shows like the Kenobi TV series. But this season of Stranger Things has grown up. The audience has grown up with the show, or you could say the opposite. And it started off well in season 1. Then in season 2 and 3, it went down. But then in season 4, it went back up again, like a U shape or a V shape. I think this show is worth watching. I've seen bits and pieces of Stranger Things because I'm not really a fan of the horror genre, because I don't want to have a heart attack spontaneously. But yes, I do think it's good. I give it a 7 out of 10. And I think we need more of it, now more than ever.
I'm apologizing because I think my chat froze. I can't see the comment. So if you're out there wondering why I'm not sharing your comments, folks, I'm trying to open the YouTube part in another window so I can get access to it outside of the horrible StreamYard functionality because it's frozen up on me. Now, Troy, you've watched it. You and I have messaged a couple times about the show. Do you think we're being a little overly positive because we had a gap where we didn't have any Stranger Things after having sort of a subpar season 3, and are we being a little too overtly positive, you think? Because I think we both kind of we like it, maybe too much.
No, I see. I was doing reality checks throughout this first half of season 4. I was thinking I was really enjoying it, and next episode. But I kept stopping and going, am I excited about this and enjoying this because I'm just comparing it to season 3? And I'm going, this is better than season 3. So, and because I did that with Mandalorian, with Boba Fett, I was like, well, this is definitely better than, the sequel trilogy. And then when I'm really intellectually honest, I go, yeah, but it's still pretty mediocre if I take it on its own. I'm not saying that about Stranger Things. I'm looking at it and I was like, if this was the only season I'd seen, it's still really great on its own. So yeah, I mean, sure, feel great about it because it's a boost from season 3, but it's still a good show in its own right.
Well, I have to be honest. I didn't want to rewatch season 3, so I just kind of said, "Well, if they give me a recap, they'll help me know what's going on." They kind of give you a little bit enough to go on.
enough. Yeah.
I have to be honest. I agree. I got into season 1, episode 1, and then 2. I was like, "This is really good." I can't believe they've done a good job of me caring about what's been going on. They make me think about a lot of different story arcs, how things have moved. People are not always in good places, so. And like I said, I want to focus on is just great to see fans get something positive. This may not be our core fandom. I mean, if you're not into the horror genre, it's kind of a supernatural / horror. Like it's TV-14. I'm going to be perfectly honest. This isn't like you're going to have to worry about some crazy scene from Nightmare on Elm Street or anything
Language
like
is
that.
pretty strong though.
They do flair with language, but again, TV-14, right? So they get away with some stuff from time to time. But I think that it is it's just interesting that it literally is the phenomenon for this teen era, and it will be interesting to see what kind of legacy it holds. Brandon, I don't know do you have your finger on the pulse with the teen community in any way, shape, or form to kind of gauge interest in something like this? Because I think it to me it floats above most of the other content that they've had. So this has to be one of those that probably has some legs.
I probably am not the best for that because my kids are just barely turning teenagers, and they still like to watch. Phineas and Ferb, and
Good for them. That's a good show.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a great show. That is so good. And Gravity Falls, and what's the third one? Big City Greens, and they're all thoroughly enjoyable. But as far as into this, no, I typically don't allow them to see anything remotely close to this, and I don't get to talk to my older nieces or nephews or be able to gauge on that. But just from what little I have seen on the Twitter, at least what gets curated to me, considering that I'm vastly older than a teenager, I would say yes, it's going to hold up pretty well. At least the first season, and from what it sounds like, the fourth season. I didn't think the second season was bad, but the third season just looked dumb.
Yeah, and I think that what we may see would be that Comic-Con / fan expos and stuff, let's say 5 years from now, the second or third characters will be still doing the Stranger Things tour. It'll still be popular enough, even when the show's sort of done. That's kind of what I think we'll see. So anyway, so I didn't expect a whole lot of Stranger Things talk because I felt like it's more of just kind of like me trying to put my finger on the pulse of the fan response to this sort of thing.
Yeah. Right.